Hey, what's going on? It's King Steph, and I'm coming at you with a rare Chainsaw Man theory video that I just came up with reading a couple of these recent chapters. And this is basically about what if the devils, such as Chainsaw Man, lost the fear of the people and actually ended up becoming weaker because of it. So I'm not even gonna waste any more time. Let's just get right into it. Alright, so in chapter 103, Chainsaw Man is pretty popular. There are groups of people who look at him as a hero for killing devils, and the other group that wants him killed because he seems dangerous and he's taking jobs away from other devil hunters. Some people don't even think he's real, and he's basically kind of looked at as like a phenomenon in Japan. He meets up with Yoshida, who's a part of an organization, and their goal is to keep Denji's identity of being the Chainsaw Man hidden to the public and to let Denji live a peaceful life. Now Denji basically wants people to figure out that he's the Chainsaw Man through his actions, or in certain cases just straight up telling people, simply because he wants the ladies to fall for him. He just wants the girls, you know, he wants his first girlfriend. That's really all he wants, which isn't exactly surprising because, I mean, if we know from chapter 1 and on, that's been the one desire Denji has really wanted. So can't you really be mad at my boy Denji? He just wants him something. And this theory I have is that if the Chainsaw Man becomes even more popular in a positive light, would that weaken his power, like I guess, as the Chainsaw Man when it comes to just killing devils and all that stuff? Because devils are brought obviously about fear, and depending on how many people fear that said object, disaster, concept, etc., the stronger that devil becomes. And I've always wondered what would happen if, for example, the Chainsaw Man fear was slowly going away. Now, in terms of people that want to go after Denji, you know, obviously like the War Devil and probably other people that we haven't seen yet, he's going to basically be a walking target. And if he does lose some of that power, because also in a story, in a narrative sense, looking at it as Denji is, for what we know, the strongest person in the series. And it'd be a way to kind of nerf Denji if the one thing he's always wanted, that popularity and that obviously being someone who can get women, if that was actually a detriment to him. And the fact that if he actually does start to lose power because he's become too much of a positive figure and he's slowly losing his fear, that could really be bad for him, including the organization that Yoshida is with, because that also makes Denji's life obviously less peaceful, and their whole goal is to make him have a peaceful life. And that would also bring out the other members who's a part of this group, and it would just make things be even more chaotic, because then Denji would be someone that people would look at as an easy target and they would just go for him. Now, another thing I was interested in was, would he be able to grow that fear back? Because there's going to be a scenario, obviously, theory-wise, if this happens. If he's going to grow this fear back, he's going to have to do some heinous stuff in order for people to really fear him. And he's going to have to do it in a public setting, whether it's on like TV or people just being in the streets and he's just around causing havoc. He's going to have to do that. And then that would put Denji in a situation where he's gonna have to do something that he's used to doing, but he's not gonna be used to the way people are vocally against him, I guess. And that will pretty much have him go against what he's always wanted in terms of that popularity factor. And then looking at the people that view him as a hero, like a Yuko per se, she would probably have some mixed feelings about him and probably not view him as a hero. They probably want to get rid of him too. And that's just like a story path I think would be really interesting. And you never know, the roles could be flipped. You could have them root for the devils to take out Chainsaw Man. I feel like if that was to happen, it would just be so many ways that Fujimoto could take this and just make things like just get kind of off the rails. Another reason I kind of thought of this theory was in chapter 104 with Yoru, aka the War Devil. She was talking about how she fought the Chainsaw Man in the past, and one of the things she's very fearful of is that everybody forgets her, and that everybody's gonna forget about how dangerous and impactful war really is. Because from movies and video games and stuff, there are terrors of war that are depicted in video games and movies. It's kind of like this, not necessarily fun, but it's like action. It's basically kind of like how we just view it as entertainment. It's nothing we really take serious in terms of like movies or manga or video games per se. And I think her saying that makes her feel like, I guess, her power is slowly going away. Plus her body was eaten by him, and it kind of just made me think, like, is this going to become a factor when we look more into like how deep this fear thing can get and how dangerous it is for a devil to actually lose its fear, to lose that power that they have because people don't view them as a threat anymore. Like, kind of imagine if people had like a fear for Vikings. Like, imagine that, and then look at it now. It's like, why the hell would you be scared of a Viking? They barely, like, no, they're not going to be like raiding and like killing us no more. Like, that whole thing is gone. So now, like, think of that in this notion of where people don't even view war as like a real thing anymore. Like, she would pretty much be non-existent, and I wonder if she would just like not fade away, but, you know, just kind of become irrelevant. And then Asa seemed a little bit kind of, I guess, worried, or felt a little bit sympathetic for Yoru, because he was just wondering, like, are you really afraid of being forgotten? And she kind of had this look, like, you know, before she fell asleep, of kind of like she was just really interested in the why was she so fearful of that. Out of everything, she was scared of being forgotten. So that was just my like concept and idea of like this whole losing fear makes you weaker, you know, concept for the devils. So if you enjoyed this type of theory for Chainsaw Man, just let me know in the comment section down below whether you agree, or could you see something like this happen or not, or you just like what I came up with in terms of this whole fear factor nonsense. But either way, subscribe if you enjoyed, like the video. I'll let you on the next one. Peace.